Oh, not too much. How you doing?
Good, good. All right, we're recording. I just got a few texts saying people are running a little late, so
Well, we're going to just be those considerate people here, like we're trying to be.
I think so.
Can I ask you guys a question while we wait?
Of course.
Yeah, that's why we're here, man.
All right, so that roofing company that we're gonna list, he reaches out to me. So I guess a little bit about the backstory. He ended up opening up 2 satellite locations with 2 of his managers, only to find out those 2 managers were basically taking jobs and doing them on their own and really screwing them over. And yeah, I know. And so he ended up shutting down those locations and cutting his overhead in half. The issue we're having now, he reached out to me this morning, is like, hey, he's like, I put up so much money with the lease buyouts and everything. He's like, I don't have anything to hold me over. Do you know any private investors that would be willing to, loan something for 60 days until busy season gets here? And I just don't even have an answer for that. So
Oh,
yeah,
well,
I know.
Yeah.
welcome to business world here.
Employees.
Oh dear
Mhm.
God.
Yep.
Dang, man. Does he that sucks that his manager did that.
So he's not wanting to sell them until he gets this busy season. Is that the idea?
He wants to sell, but he's worried that he can't because he just doesn't have any reserves in the bank, and so I just don't know.
So why is he okay? What is it? Is it more because of livelihood? He can't, like, he just can't. So that would be my question: is that what does that have to do with selling? Right?
I have
Yeah.
no idea. He just sent me a voice message today and was like, he said that he's taken the 2 minor or small loans out, and he doesn't want to take another one out. He'd rather go through some type of private investor to loan him some funds and then get paid back within 60 days. And he's like, if there's no money, then I can't sell. And so I just don't know what to do. And I figured, since I'm going to jump on this call, I could ask you guys about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think we're definitely concerning for him, you know what I mean? Because the one thing I would say about if he's doing it, like, is this the big question is he taking these loans out personally, or is he
I think
leveraging the company?
It's
Because if he's leveraging the company, then that's going to be a whole different can of worms.
For sure.
I believe they're personal
Well,
loans. He told me.
Okay.
The average business takes 2-3 months to sell, regardless.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's about his history. How long has he been in business? What does the annual revenue look like over the 3-5 year range? Regardless of all the ups and downs, employee stealing, all that, it's still been a business. So for me, it's listing it and then sell it for what it is, and then we'll go from there. So we got to evaluate it. We've got to do all those different things that we could add tools to the belt. But for me, it
fits into what we're going to talk about today.
It does.
It's like we didn't have Brian jump on here and say, hey, listen, this is what I want
It's a plug.
tee this up. But I think what Corey's going to talk about today is getting kind of out of our own damn way in some of these things, and also that I think that goes with sellers too. It's like getting, because he's all worried about this, but the answer is him selling his business. That's the answer, and so him not having it on the market is not helping him also. So I would say get that up as soon as possible if you can, and see where the cards fall. Right? I don't know if that's what would you think.
Yeah, that and you also have the opportunity for partnership. You could sell ownership stake in the company with an investment of $200,000 or $50,000 or whatever it is, to where that's how you get this money, and you can sell half of it and get a partner.
So, yeah. So what your biggest thing is, I would say you have the exclusive. Do you have a listing agreement signed?
He was supposed to get the P&Ls over to me, and then I think he hadn't sent them because of this issue, but I don't think that's going to be an issue getting it signed. I just wanted to
I would have him be like, not send me anything until you send me the listing agreement, because I don't want any of it unless you're going to sign that, because then you can start going to work. And what I mean is that it's a roofing company, and you might be able to do a really easy synergy play on this and close it super fast if you reach out to every roofing company in the area and say, I have a roofing company, have you heard of them? Because opposed to be putting it on like Biz Buy Sell and going after that, you might be able to close this thing a lot faster than you think. Because if you are putting it on there and somebody from California or wherever, a different state, different area, may not even have ever heard of that roofing company. However, if there's a local roofing company and you go, hey, what's the roofing company's name?
Cardinal Roofing and Exteriors.
You say Cardinal?
Or
Yeah,
no, Cardinal.
Cardinal.
Okay,
Yep,
so-
Cardinal Roofing and Exteriors.
So if you call, hey, Mr. Roofing Company, have you ever heard of Cardinal Roofing? And they're like, yeah, we have. We're trying to sell that company. Are you looking to maybe kind of add some? So you might be able to get in a roofing company, they might be able to just jump on there or say, hey, listen, we just want to partner with him. What's his reason for selling? Like, does he want to retire or what's he trying to do?
So he got leukemia and he's been kind of going through that. And I think with all the employee drama, he's just ready to hang it up. He wants to take his funds and retire.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think your biggest thing, I think you reach out to every roofing company
Mhm.
and maybe you may not even put it on bid by sale. You might be, guys, I mean, that's like the number one thing with these companies because somebody that had maybe been a roofer before
Mhm.
is one thing. That's what you're looking for, right? You're looking for that on bid by sale. Someone that's like, I'm not in a roofing company. But the other thing is a synergy where you have roofing companies that are maybe looking to capitalize. But I would say in that market, in the labor market, a lot of them, unless they're a big company, don't think about that on a daily basis. They're worried about roofing.
Mhm.
And so you kind of have to present that offer to them,
For sure.
And so,
Well, yeah, let's keep diving. This is so Brian. Normally we leave the deals and talk about them towards the end,
yeah,
but if we
we'll talk at the beginning.
fill this whole call up full of deals, I'll be a happy person.
I mean,
but, yeah,
that's the thing. We want that. We want everyone to be bringing like, and then when we get to that point, it's like, hey, bring us not just deals, but bring us conversations that you're having with sellers or
Mhm.
buyers that maybe you're like, hey, we have one. I know that, Deb has been on this one and we basically just like, you just walk away. You know what I mean? There's certain situations. So bring those, not just like your deals, but also maybe some conversations that are like, hey, am I in the right direction? Am I wasting my time? Bring those also when we get to that point.
Yeah. Well, let's dive in. So the two topics that we had today are getting out of our own way from getting a business listing. And then also which ones are good ones, which ones are bad ones, the hot ones that are hitting today and the ones that are selling fast. But before we go in, I know you guys, some of you have some pressing questions. I know in our one-on-ones that we've been having throughout this month, we've had a lot of, what if this situation happens? Where could I go here? Where could I pivot? So let's actually reverse the call today. I think let's carry the momentum. If anybody has any questions to start out there on some current business transactions that we have. So I know JJ, you're on the finish line. You're getting close. Getting close.
With what? Which one are we on the finish line?
The moving company, which is crazy.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Man, I'm like totally just technology piece. And I'm like, wait, this is all news to me.
Moving company, yeah. JJ, you want to have any updates on yours, man? I mean, the offer where it hit the market and where it's the offer and then where we're landing is crazy. Like it's such a wide spectrum. I don't know if you wanted to highlight any of that.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be getting in the written offer today. So I'm just like anxiously trying not to look at my email too much. And also because I think the owner probably will take it, but who knows? Because it's kind of just changed. So it got listed originally 1.2 million. Been talking to a buyer for a long time. He came in with an initial offer that was like way less, like under 400,000. But I was like, okay, that's a way different, obviously. So obviously just trying to keep building relationships so that even if this guy can't buy this business, then maybe he'll want to buy a different one kind of thing. So, which led to conversations more or less just about how did you get to your number and then why we came up with ours. And eventually we're like, hey, let me just go back to the seller. And so go to the seller. Here's what the owner's thinking, yada, yada. And so now this guy's come back with an offer. It's going to be like 600,000. And I don't know if there's going to be anything else with it, but it's just been jumping all over the place because I thought it was going to like die after like he sent me the original like email version, not like a signed like purchase agreement up to like 387 or something. So yeah, so hopefully it'll all work out. And honestly, when you look at just like the SDE value of the moving company, if he sells it for 600,000, he's selling it for like a 3.5x multiple of SDE, which is pretty dang good. So
yeah, nice. So let's highlight some of those again. So what is a multiplier real quick, just for those that are getting into this? It essentially is your profit times a multiplier. And the market average right now is 3.2. So essentially take your profit times 3.2. Got a question there, it looks like. But and then also on top of that, you know, JJ, to go a little bit behind the scenes, he sat down and took time to have dinner with the owner that's selling the business. I think he did a great job setting the expectation that, hey, look, you know, this is going to be a journey. We don't know what we're going to get, but let's just take it together. And then he actually sat down and met with the buyer and the seller in person as well, to talk about it, to get them to really see if they have an interest, because both parties really need to see if they can tie this bridge together. So I think it's going to make your negotiations a lot easier. Obviously, knowing two faces, good strategies. But the point is, and it goes back to our topic today, is, you know, we have a lot of different opportunities when it comes to really slowing down the sale. And it's one of those things to where I personally have slowed down many transactions because of my own getting in my own way. And what I mean by that is, like, in your mind, JJ, for example, oh crap, he's $300,000. The deal's done. And all of a sudden he doubles the deal a week later. And you're like, what just happened in his mindset? So it's really getting out of our own way, and our selling out of our own pocket is another term. And those that have sold real estate obviously know this too. You never know what's in that bank, and you never know what they're going to offer. And there ended up being a profit share with this, right, TJ? If I'm not mistaken, we're on top of that 600K for a few years. They share profit. Is
Yeah,
that an
like
opportunity?
originally after our last conversation, he was thinking he was going to do like 500,000 somewhere around there, plus some sort of earn back over some period of time. And then when I talked to him last time, he's like, I think maybe I might just do 600K all up front. So I was like, oh, okay. So who knows?
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Now, how did you, for those that are new to the call, how did you find this listing?
Um, this guy I found on BizQuest trying to sell his business, and the reason why it stuck out to me is because he did a real million in revenue in 2023, but then he was trying to sell his business for 3 million. So I was like, okay, this is clearly an owner. And so I was like, I got to connect with this guy, just try to get him on the phone, and then just be myself and be honest and see what happens. So
BizQuest. Nice. It's the classic, you know, find there. I mean, I was looking on the phone with Deb and her one-on-one a couple days ago, and it's getting more and more obvious on which ones are the business owners that are trying to sell themselves. And you can see desperation, to be very honest, in the listing itself. You know, they'll even sometimes will end up selling you or telling you one thing, and then they'll have other businesses that are already actively listed on there. This was a key lock Smith business with 3 office locations, but they're only letting her sell 1. And then, you know, going back to that business owner now, knowing that, hey, I see that you have 3 on here, you know, how do we loop this all in together? So you would be surprised. So what are things in your guys' opinion that will get in the way of getting that listing agreement? Those that have gone through some transactions already. Like, so example, you know, you meet with the owner, they're interested in selling, like, for example, this roofing company, Brian. What are things that are getting in your way from getting that listing agreement signed?
I've got something that I've done twice that I knew was wrong and I did it anyway. The first, I went to meet with a restaurant owner and I didn't realize, I didn't even ask the question. Well, okay, let me back up. One, I thought it was a man I was going to meet. I brought my son with, who's 6'4", almost 4th-degree black belt as a bodyguard, and went there, and it ended up being this woman, and she owns the restaurant. It's weird. These Asian people kind of like hide in their Facebook profiles behind who they really are. It's really weird. But anyway, so it was her and her husband as the decision makers. I only met with her. Then I went to a snow blowing company again. I thought I was meeting with the man, but the wife was one that was talking. And both the husband and the wife were there, but the husband went off and continued working, and I only met with the wife. And so I didn't get to meet with both decision makers, and that is critical. And I know that from real estate too. You got to have all decision makers there. And so in fact, today we're meeting with potential buyer for the coffee shop license. The husband and wife are coming, and so are the seller. So we'll get everybody on the same page.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
That's great.
It's so hard to find the decision maker. I mean, JJ, you found that for a restaurant to yourself. It's a guy, he knew everything, had no decision power whatsoever, but it was his restaurant. He was the chef. He was everything, but the wife had the power, which is great.
I mean,
Yeah, let's be honest.
I
Like,
mean,
yeah, fair enough.
That's
What
normal,
else
isn't it?
gets in the way?
I think the seller in my case is getting in his own way. I think what we need to do exactly what you said and just go ahead and get the listing agreement out there and list it, and then reach out to the roofing companies around and see if we can they can do some type of partnership. like you said, your mindset is really important. And I feel like most of the time we get in our own way just from thinking, of obstacles or roadblocks or whatever it may be, and really they're not. So
Yeah, you nailed it. I remember selling a commercial cleaning company, and the owner I was like, hey, I want to come by, take a picture of your vans, all the different things. And these vans were ugly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. They looked like, an expired ice cream truck from 1970, right? And he was like, I don't want these on the face, I don't want these on social media. I don't want it to also harm my company. Because when we show up to these sites to clean, we're showing up late at night. And so the vehicle doesn't really matter. All that matters is the equipment, right? And so we both came up with the idea of, why don't we wrap just one of them for a few $1,000s and make it, presentable.
There you go.
The company went from selling from, $250,000 to $650,000 because of a wrapped vehicle. So these owners have a different perspective of what their business is worth, both good and bad. Some downplay it, some overplay it. Like Jay just, I want to sell this for $3 million, but really the business is probably worth 500,000-600,000. And some simply do the opposite, where this thing is a hidden gem and they're undervaluing their property. So owners get in the way of selling their business all day long from the perceived value of what they think the business is. For a fact, you have to get over that hurdle after you get over your hurdle of what you think it's perceived at. So
Yeah.
I also get the,
Good.
sorry, I
Go
also
ahead.
get they're just too busy. They're just too busy. They can't take time to meet. And, I have several that are like that. The one's got the contract, he's just not signing it. The other one, well, we were gonna meet. Oh, we can't meet. Let's do another time. Oh, we can't meet. They're just too busy, so that's really gets frustrating.
it's probably not because they're too busy, to be very honest with you, Sherry. It's probably because they're hiding something else. And you got to find out what it is, because it's probably not a mountain and a molehill. Like it's the opposite. Most of these guys have, again, an emotional value to their business, and for them to put on the market is now showing them what's underneath the hood. I've seen some of the best businesses, one in downtown Liberty Hill that we used to go to as a restaurant, and it's tried selling now for over a year and a half. Whiskey Place, yeah, Whiskey Barrel, yeah. And they're going off their perceived value of what the look looks like. And at the end of the day, it's not in business. Like, so it's not worth anything besides the assets that's inside of it. So one of the things I wanted to highlight, again, owners, but really you too. So for example, when you go into a business and you say to them, hey, I want to get a listing agreement with you guys, the next step is going to mean I'm going to basically find everything else about you. You have to reassure them, hey, look, this is a very easy process. And you almost say what they're worried about, and you take a guess. You almost throw the spaghetti on the ceiling and hope it sticks. So you say things to these guys like, hey, are you good there? All right. I'm talking to guys sneezing. It's a little awkward on the podcast. So you say to them things like, hey, look, most people that sell businesses, just FYI, it takes a little bit to get some of the paperwork behind the scenes. Some don't have taxes. Some don't have financial P&Ls ready, especially right now, guys, with the beginning of the year. Some essentially are not profitable, but businesses still sell based off what the owner and the current buyer is trying to perceive and buy. So almost hit those milestones before they even come in their head. Hey, some people sell, I've seen some of the ugliest businesses sell for crazy dollars. It's not about what it looks like, things like that. You almost try and hit as many as you possibly can, and you will get lucky enough, because I assure you they're thinking of one of those things already. Even Brian, we were talking about this was a couple of days ago. This business may not be worth anything right now, but it could be worth something in 3 months. So again, think on the half glass full mentality.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think, and a lot of times private sellers are, I think even in like real estate, when you have a seller, they're thinking, oh, I gotta get this ready first. And then I sell. I gotta get this ready first.
Mhm.
I gotta get this ready. And then so they're kind of getting in their way because they think that there's like this checkbox they have to have. Once this is done, no, you don't have to do that.
Mhm.
Right. So they're thinking they're perceiving that the house has to be clean. They're perceiving that all the P&L's got to be completely done right now.
Mhm.
You don't have to be.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's just, that's just why they call it discovery when you're doing this. And discovery, we talk about discovery meeting, but in all reality, you're always in discovery, because a lot of times they're going to sweep things under the rug. They're going to try to be behind the curtain. They're trying to be like, oh, because if that business broker knows that, I mean, we're on your side.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
us know what's going on because we can help you. And maybe it's not a non-issue. But they're putting this big, huge weight on themselves and they don't have to.
Yeah.
And so that's our job also to guide them.
For sure. It's funny though. I think of the car wash scenario because on this car wash, many people don't know this. It had a food trailer on it. And he's like, "Can I just include that and up the price?" And we're like, "Sure, whatever." I mean, like, let's just go with the flow here, right? Be water.
Well, the be water is the best thing you can ever say. Like, be water.
Yeah.
Let's go with the flow. And if they're like, "Hey, I don't really have P&Ls," that's fine.
Yeah.
Get the thing listing because and a lot of times when you start getting buyers and when a buyer asks for a P&L, is way more important than if I ask for one.
Yeah.
Because the buyer's like, "Hey, listen, they want to possibly put an offer on your house or your business, right?
Yeah.
They possibly want to do that." Opposed to me being like, "Hey, I just want to list your business. We really need your P&L." But once that becomes a reality, they're like, "Oh, God, I got this P&L."
That means we have a bite. We have a fish that bought.
Let's go. And then so they'll be getting the Tom Brady award.
Yeah, LFG. Yeah, LFG for those that have been seeing Tom Brady's award. But yeah, no, it's crazy because what ended up happening in the car wash is someone's interested in a mobile food park business. They could care less about the car wash. Is going to buy it for the fact
what's going on.
Yeah, that's what they're like, well, I didn't realize this car wash made this kind of money. So I'm going to do both and transition and see what happens. But the key is just keep stepping one foot in front of the next and don't be a hurdle because this car wash is going to sell with no tax returns. Okay. It's the only financial value or financial proof that has been seen is the fact that how much sales tax he's paid because you can reverse backdoor that. And then in addition to that, it's owned by two people. The food truck is owned by one person and the other car wash is owned by another person. And then the landlord's calling saying, "I'm only going to give a 1-year lease at a time. And this business, guys, is still going to sell for $500,000. So it's crazy. All these hurdles that you would think, no way this thing's going to sell. I think about it every time I hear about this business. No way it's going to sell. It's going to sell.
I mean, when we first walked that though, we were like, we could do 10 of these.
Yeah.
Well, there's also a food truck parked right across the street. So you're like, okay, if someone's going there, they're like, oh, let's go over there and see what they got.
For sure.
But you're also kind of double dipping on that too. So there's a lot of when we were walking that, I was like, he's like, "Oh yeah, some people ask me that." There's so many options out there when you have space, especially in a downtown area. Because he was like, "Yeah, people are calling me. They want to park their cars here because they do Turo, and like they'll pay me $300." And I'm like doing the math, like you can fit like
just Turo
30 cars here.
Yeah.
Like so it's just $300 just to park. Done.
Yeah.
Like it's there's so many options with that place just because of the location.
Yeah.
Why they're getting what they can is because that location is
for sure
insane.
For sure. So point one for those that are listening out there is really stop getting in the way of getting the business listed. You don't have to have this paperwork. Does it make it better? Yes. Will it sell faster if it has more paperwork? Yes, for a fact. You'll get more legitimate buyers that want it. But there are people out there. This person that's getting this car wash is getting gifted money. And they've always wanted to own their own business. So you can never be surprised on where that money comes from. So point one is that we really wanted to make today, and I've got a lot of it in the one-on-ones, is get out of your own way of predetermining that, right?
Yeah.
So we'll take a pause. What other pause for a commercial break? We don't have commercial breaks yet, but we should. That'd be a great time. Tell me, is there any other deals we got we'll interject before we go to point two? I know some of the newer ones on here. I know Phil and Dave, you guys got any deals yet? Can you guys hear us okay? Make sure mic check, by the way.
Nothing at this time.
No, me either.
Have you gone fishing yet?
I've got a
What'd you say?
question on one. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Sherry, we'll come right back to you. But what do you say?
I've been looking on Marketplace local here within 40, 50 miles and just to see what's out there. Prospecting. I just got, as we were speaking, my delivery for my stamp for confidential letters. So
Nice.
I got the letters all done. Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
Nice. Now, Phil, have you messaged any of these guys yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't done that yet. I'm a little IT challenged, so I'm working on it.
Hey, it's all right. Just send it, literally just for fun. Send messages. You will be surprised on what you can get back. I assure you. Just literally just say, "Hey, you ever thought about selling the business with a broker?" Whatever it is. Follow the script too on the trainings if you haven't done that yet, and you get a recipe for success. Now, I know you, Dave, are really focused on the manufacturing side of things, and you've done I'm sure you're building your pipeline up, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at out there at maybe some of the smaller companies that I've worked with in the past, but I'm also just trying to figure out what is really the best route or industry for me to go. And, trying to drive my area and look at what the small businesses are around here. And just kind of maybe, kind of like in our conversation, I don't want to try to go too big right away. So maybe I need to
Yeah.
go down to the smaller, maybe machine shops or more specialty companies that I'm aware of. Plus, I know a lot of the bigger companies are starting to buy up these smaller companies. So maybe if a person can get their foot in that small company, like you're saying, like with the roofing companies, also promote to those bigger ones saying, hey, are you looking for more of a specialty machine shop that can take care of these small jobs that you normally farm out? So I'm just trying to narrow it down a little bit more, because I've always experienced that if you try to do too much for everyone, you're probably not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish you could have used him from advice on that
Fiberglass. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe we could still get. There's a big fiberglass company.
Eventually, we're going to eventually do that. It's just, and sometimes it just takes a little bit, because they're open to the idea of selling. Like I said, like he's all like, I gotta talk to my CPA and I gotta do all this. And now we're getting to the tax return season. So he's probably like, I gotta wait till that's done.
Yep.
And I want to get that, because once I get that done, then I can show more or whatever it is. But we'll eventually get that fiberglass company, which is pretty awesome. But yeah,
those are rare type of skill sets that people have in the leading manufacturing or fiberglass companies or making airplane parts. So it reminds me, and they're the businesses that don't have signs. They're in those warehouse type of spaces with the big garages.
if you know, you know.
If you know type of things. I'm telling you, take a drive back to some of those, because these are the businesses that sell fast. I mean, if you could have a team that knows how to replace fiberglass. I mean, this gentleman was talking about $1 million contracts with the University of Texas. Yeah, with NASA.
I mean, he's like, I had to turn it down. I was like, wait, what? Why would you turn it down? All the manpower. You're like,
yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, there's another good way to find those. I love those hidden buildings. There's a jiu-jitsu gym that we were just looking at and listing that there's no sign, but you go in and this thing is massive. And they're like, hey, look, we really need to buy another jiu-jitsu gym. But if it wouldn't have been walking in that facility, we would never be able to have a buyer box and be able to get that person to buy jiu-jitsu in, which is crazy. You wouldn't think that there's a lot of money and there's a lot of small mom and pop jiu-jitsu shops, but this is their 6th jiu-jitsu. So anyway, I can't say that word fast enough. Jiu-jitsu, yeah. Nice. So Sherry, back to you, my friend. You had a deal.
Yeah, so I'm curious, because we had texted about this one last week and you said, hey, bring it to the Friday call. And then you unfortunately were not able to make it. And so I thought, well, let's talk about this week. And it's the glamping business. And I know we did talk about this last week. And I thought that was a fantastic idea, Travis, to go out and message all the ones around it, they're all homes and cabin kind of people, but I messaged 15 people all around her. Not a single one said anything back. They didn't even say, no, thank you. It's like, really? And so the big pushback I get on that one is that it's got very little revenue. They don't even know how little. They haven't gotten the information on it, that it's got 15,000 revenue last year, because she hasn't put a lot of effort into it. She's got one of the tents that really needs to get replaced. So she's got 2 platforms, 1 tent, 1 RV, and no lease because it expired. It's like for 105,000, people are just not buying into that. So I'm like, well, do I put it back down asset sale price and just try and get someone to buy the asset, or what else can I do to try and get this one sold or keep going further out? But I think glamping is different. And then we were talking here, I thought, I wonder, there's an Facebook ad that comes through lately for people teaching people how to build glamping businesses. And I thought, I wonder if I can like pick up that word in a Facebook ad and find those people that are wanting to build glamping, because I get I've gotten probably over 40 leads for this thing, and nobody wants to bite on it. It's weird.
Because of the land?
They think that they get to own the land with that price.
Yeah, I think that's just, I think that is going to be a business that may sell later on, may not, but I think it's giving you some So I think just capitalizing on the buyers as much as you can, like if you know that, that's what they're looking for.
Mhm.
What are they looking for? They want the land? Is that what they're looking for? What do they want the land for? Like, do they want to do glamping themselves but own the land? Like, what is it? Because you could really turn that into maybe even a real estate transaction if you needed to. You know, are they looking for land? Like, I think, that's the buyer box. Like, why? That if not this, then what
Yeah.
you were talking about. Like,
Yeah.
they're calling because it's real. They think it's real estate. They think it's like wow, I can get this really cheap. And in all reality, it's like, well, okay, no, that's not that, but I can help you find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And you do the buyer box on that. Have you had any luck with reaching out to anybody? And how's that going?
So I've reached out to all the 50+ people in my database, and I've got like 3 appointments with buyers. So, to talk buyer box stuff. So that's good. Got some people
That's
that
great. That's gonna
responded.
get you set up a listing, call listings like
Mhm.
crazy.
Mhm.
What
But I
businesses are those 3 appointments from?
Pardon me?
What businesses of yours are those 3 appointments from?
It's the glamping business, the car detailing business. I think those are the 3 that they're for the 2, because a couple of them are from the one. And I just feel this is just one of those things in my heart. I feel bad that she started out on Facebook for a very small amount, and then we bumped it up to this 105, and I can't get it sold for that. And like, I just in my heart feel bad that it's not selling, and I want to sell it for her. And I'm just, so I'm, I can definitely tap into finding something else for these buyers, but I just don't know what to do to help get it sold for her too. Because I took the power away from her for selling it, and I'm not getting it done. And I told her I have a 6-month contract, but it's just, for me, that's frustrating.
Yeah, it's interesting because you get attached to these sellers and you're trying to do everything you can to help them transition. Especially too, I wouldn't say she's struggling, right, Cherry? But there are business owners that are going to be out there that are like, look, I am drowning. Like I need out of this fast. And you feel their pain, their families, and it's one of those things to where it just is what it is and it's business. But you have to look past that because you gave it a shot. There's no harm in giving it a shot. And at the end of the day, did you by chance focus on the monthly cash flow that this person who buys the business would make?
That's in the CIM now. It's in there for people to see.
Is it a headline?
It's not a headline. I can make it a headline.
Headline, everything. You want to make $3,000 a month cash flow passively. This is a business for you.
Okay.
Low overhead.
Yeah, low overhead, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I think that business is, man, it's a tough business. Look, so is she still making money though? Like it's still operational, right?
Oh, no, because she shuts it down for the winter and she hasn't opened it back up. So she's not doing anything with it right now. It's
Yeah, that's a
basically a
tough one.
closed business.
So that's where if they're, especially when they get to the point if they're looking at any bank statements or looking at anything, that's gonna be a hard one. So it could be one of those things where, man, that stinks that because it's just a bad, maybe when's she gonna start like opening it up? Probably what, March, April?
Yeah. April is when she's done it before. I mean, it's been a weird winter. Maybe she could open it sooner, but we get a lot of snow in March up here. So
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that's seasonal. That's like a seasonal business too. So it's not just like, hey, a month. It's like for this, what, probably 5 months period as she's in business.
Yeah.
yeah.
Unless she gets into ice fishing, or something like that, or Eskimo stays, right? Which is a thing. But but I don't know. This goes to the second point, which is, which businesses are hot and which ones are selling
Yeah.
quick, right?
And which ones should I never
And-
have just picked up?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. The ones to me, and I'm going to go from a revenue standpoint. If the business is at $300,000 in annual revenue, you're probably going to have, in my opinion, a 25% chance of selling that. If it's $500,000 to $750,000 in revenue, you're probably going to have a 60-70% chance of selling it. Anything over $1 million is always for sale in the small business world. It's always, even if it's not profitable. Anything in $1 million in revenue, you have room to make money, period. Like if you just rerun this thing correctly, right? So for me, is, again, know your chances, know your risk and investment. So anything under $300,000, it gets a little gray. You'll see the ones that are selling here that we have at BizBroker Plus is the ones that are 500,000 are kind of the gold, 500,000 to $1 million are really kind of the gold area to focus on. So it could be a 2 or 3 person employee company, but if it's at that revenue, it's good to go.
Yeah.
Now, another hot one, and only because I'm in the restaurant business, I know this, is ghost kitchens. No business broker is paying attention to ghost kitchens.
This one, have you been to the one that's in Austin?
Yeah.
There's like,
There's
one's got
like-
like Hawaiian food in it.
There's 10 different restaurants in there. You can literally go to a ghost kitchen that has 15, 20 restaurants inside of it and literally cold drop letters to all 20 in 20 minutes. And you will find one right there as far as ghost kitchens go. And again, those are very low overhead, you have employees, you don't have to worry about retail.
I mean, they're paying them basically like kind of like a salon, right?
Yeah,
So they're
exactly.
paying them rent.
Yeah.
It's just a cheaper rent and they basically are combining all their resources, So
Exactly.
It's common.
So good stuff. So, okay. So other businesses that are very hot right now that we're seeing, ones that, again, think about the big corporate quit. So more to you, Dave, essentially the ones that are in a company right now that are doing a manufacturing, they're doing some sort of logistical company, freight shipping. These companies are hot, but getting in front of them is extremely tough. So what I would suggest doing, if you do have the contacts, use the contacts. If you don't have the contacts, I know it's work, but you got to get out there and get in front of these small business owners, these mechanic shops, anything where it takes a skilled trait to do and to learn, whether it be the actual skill of manufacturing or the actual skill of running the plant itself. These businesses are really, really hot. Think service organizations. So meaning they're AKA portfolio buyers. So those that essentially can buy multiple businesses and buy up the space, those are the ones that are selling. Again, the marketing company that we just sold, it was simply because they already are in the industry and they could buy up space. Bottom line, it was the fastest 2-week sell I've seen in a while.
I mean, and when you have and that's going to be some of the bigger ones too. I think landscaping, anything that you can say, hey, I can predict revenue, a prediction of revenue, because what happens in landscaping? They're going back there every week, every 2 weeks. And so you can say, hey, these are all the customers that I have. And then you can go, well, I can predict that revenue, opposed to maybe one that you can't predict, like a restaurant, you can't predict. You're guessing and you can see, look at it. But when you have a subscription kind of model or like a recurring revenue type of model, like those ones sell fast. And that's why the advertising company was like, we have 300, and they're paying okay. And they've been paying for X amount of time. All it is just getting more and making the business digital like they didn't have. So that you can look at the upside of that. So that's a really big one too. Home health care is really big right now.
Huge.
So if you're out there, and the goal of this too is knowing what's demanded out there, so that you can, especially if you're doing you have a business that you are listing, that you have to know if not this, then that, and you say, well, if not this, maybe it's if they're looking for real estate, if they're looking for if they're looking for glamping, if they're looking for they might be looking for real estate, maybe it's a good thing. But if you have a business that is maybe has a different segue of that. So home health care is really great, right? So if someone's like, hey, well, why you wanted to what type of business are you wanting? Well, I want real estate involved. If you buy the real estate, but it's in a home health care, it's like assisted living, those bank and it's consistent. Well, why are they consistent? Because they're paying every month. Those people that are moving, and there's always full, always full. And there's a lot of government assistance too that comes into it also. Huge one, obviously the main ones that are always hot, which are laundromats.
If you could find one.
If you could find one. Yeah, so not cleaning services, but actually Coinbase by a apartment complex would be amazing, right? Those are really great ones. What are the ones we have? Car washes, obviously.
Yep.
Car washes, but even
it's all recurring.
All recurring. That's what. And so even the ones that aren't the automated ones, because usually you can buy the real estate on there, and it's good. It's kind of like not laundromat, right? But Those are the ones that are really, really good. Landscaping, any lawn care, we said. Maintenance shops are actually really popular. If you have like a reoccurring revenue type of model, like oil changing ones.
Mhm. Massive,
Amazing.
yeah.
Because you have to change oil. It's
Mhm.
consistent, you know that you have it, and it's on a main street, huge,
Mhm.
right? Going away in Texas, but inspections for getting your DMV to get your car approved, huge.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it. It's not an option.
Mhm.
And so if you have those types of business, so when you're looking at these high demand businesses, make sure that you're looking at things that, like, how is their revenue coming in?
Mhm.
And is it something that they can say this is going to be consistent because they have a clientele base, or it's a demand where it's like instituted by the government or, you know, the local legislation? But roofing companies are great too.
Mhm.
Roofing companies are great, and they're great when they're hot, which means, especially here in Texas, what
Yep.
happens when hail happens? Just insurance.
For sure.
You're literally taking a whole.
I see that Arch business, the roofing company, they're just getting more and more and more trucks. It's crazy.
Georgetown.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I know the guy.
yeah. No, you know,
If he wants to sell.
I'm gonna say a crazy statement here, but trust me when I say this. One of the best things that you could do to find businesses is partner with business brokers that have been in the industry for a long time. Why? They don't care about businesses under $1 million.
Yeah.
They don't care. That marketing company that sold in 2 weeks had interviewed 3 business brokers before us, and they turned them all down. Every business broker said your business is not worth enough for me to entertain. So literally call that trans world business broker and say, hey, anything under your allotment that you don't want to touch, the hair salons, the pet grooming places,
Huge.
just hand them over to me, and I'll give you a bonus for doing that in some sort of this thing closes. So again, reach out to these guys because they don't have time and they don't entertain it. Remember, they paid $150,000 to be a business broker. Their system and their protocols are focused on businesses $1 million, probably 3 million and up, and they'll do 2 or 3 a year. They're not entertaining these small businesses, the smoothie shops, the mobile parks, things like that. They're just not. They don't care, and
Nope.
especially if it's got real estate. They do not focus on the ones that have real estate either.
What do you think that is?
Because they don't have real estate, it's not real estate. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, then you guys got some advantages too. If you are a real estate agent, too, you can take those on.
Yeah.
Like a mobile
Yeah.
park, which are huge.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, put yourself into the seller's, the buyer's shoe when you have these listings also. And just know that, like, how would I do this?
Mhm.
And so you have a good idea of what these buyers, when they're calling, like, how would you change that business and become the business minded person that you have to. So if you've been in real estate or any other profession, you have a different mindset. So you have to step in as a business owner and say, how would I do this?
Mhm.
How would I do this? And start getting that creative juices flowing as a business owner. And you may be able to help the business owner, but you also think about this in the long run. There's no real estate that's going to make you $100,000 a year. No purchase that you'll ever pay.
No single purchase.
So also think about certain things that that you can do. Think about even this glamping one. I know it's probably maybe something that you want to do, Jerry, but in all reality, you have a relationship with this seller and she wants to get it done, and you go, listen, this isn't a hot market, but I tell you what, I will buy this from you at X amount, but I'm doing all seller financing, and I'm going to start at this date because you aren't making any money. Well, what if you could turn around when it comes May and you could actually do a couple of things and you could sell it for $100,000?
Yeah, flipping businesses can be very lucrative, especially with daycares.
Daycares are huge.
Yeah, things like
Why?
that. Yeah.
Because everyone keeps having kids and they love to.
Yeah, I know.
Like this.
Trust me.
Yeah, I know. You're just
Yeah.
this fanny guy.
JJ, I got a transit. You can't make fun of me, but I'm excited about it.
15-person van. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, are you guys done?
But no, so let's turn it over to any questions besides, you may not have a deal, but you're like, I'm facing this. What questions do we have there?
Anything?
I got something. So
Yes, sir.
my real estate brokers, they do a lot of wholesaling. They got a RV, marina, restaurant, cabin on a lake out about 3 hours from here. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they're trying to wholesale it. I guess, do you think I should ask if we can somehow get in there and list and get, I mean, how would you handle that? Do you see there, I guess, any type of money to be made, or, what would y'all do in this typical situation? Like he's
Is it actually, is it running? Is the business running?
It's running. The real estate comes with it. I've basically been posting because they'll give me a cut, right, if I can sell it for them. And so got a lot of people that are interested in it, and they're it's hard for them to believe that it's for 3 million and the real estate comes with it. And I just don't know enough about it, so I just want to pick your brain.
Have they had any luck selling it already on off market?
No.
Yeah, I
How
would.
long has it been up?
Yeah.
How long has it been up, Brian?
I have no idea. He just he sent it to me the other day and sent me the packet with the financials. And I guess he put together a packet kind of how we do in our, the classes that we took recently. But
Mhm.
I mean, it NOI is like 350K, I believe. So not too bad. It's just it'd be high if the real estate didn't come with it, but the real estate comes with it. So I think that's a decent price.
Yeah.
How many acres is it?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head.
You're not buying it. I know where Travis is going with this. He's already
Just saying, can you turn this into like, a bunch of cabins and
For sure.
and, like, if
It's
That's
got
the thing I was-
cabins. It's got like a metal building that rent out for like wedding events, and I mean, it's got its own dock. It's got crappie fishing. I mean, it's got. I'll
they're
send
only
you
doing
a
3
flyer.
million to do wedding.
Yeah.
They're doing way more.
Well, the thing is, Brian, is why are they wanting to list it off market?
I have no idea. So my brokers try to, my brokers, they like to buy a lot of RV parks, and they found this, and they don't like anything with real estate. They don't want to have the maintenance for it. So, I guess the owner was willing to sell it, and they made an offer. They got it under contract, and they're trying to wholesale it.
Oh, I
looks-
see.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
I mean, honestly, so the wholesaler does not want you to. So your broker does not want to list it on the market. They want to continue. Interesting. I would talk him into doing it. That thing will sell pretty quick. The opportunity is massive.
Send it over to me.
Yeah. I would say, hey, look, let's try it for 30 days. Let's just see what happens. You have not broadcasted this on any business platform. Let's make a quick marketing package for it, not just P&Ls, but where it shows the opportunity, and then see if you can't list it for 30 days.
Do me a favor, take whatever you have, pictures, anything you got, and post it in the HQ for me. And so that everyone can look at it too. I want to see, I mean, it's any listings that you have, or any, especially these for sale by owner listings that you're like, hey, I'm working with this, trying to do that. Post it in there too, so we can maybe take other people can look at it, and maybe help you out also. But post that in there, because I want to take a look at it and see, maybe if there's a way to do it. And if you need me in any way to help, we're always here to help.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Also, so just go to the hub and post it in the hub.
No. Post it in HQ. So the Facebook group. Are you on
Okay,
there?
gotcha. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, post it in there too, because that would be great for us all to take a look at it and do that. And also maybe you could see if they want to see if they wouldn't mind allowing us to list it for them, and I don't know, see if we could do like not exclusive, but just
Just list it.
Just list it. See, just let it and see what we can. Because worst case scenario, Brian, is that we're not just trying to sell that. You're like, if you have a $3 million business that you're putting up for sale, I'm thinking of all the buyers that are gonna like the investors that are gonna look and be like, okay, hold on a second, I'll take a look at that, and the inquiries that you're gonna get. Because imagine if you get 10 of those and one of them converts, and not even this business, but another business. These are probably high producing like investors that are looking for something. So you could turn this around and maybe say, hey, like maybe we have a gas station, whatever your RV park or whatever. The goal is we start just as, if you're wholesaling, we want to build a buyer database. And that is a great buyer database.
Yeah, you're gonna get some big ones there.
Yeah.
Just make sure you value, the last comment I'll make is make sure you value the property. You don't have to sell it separately, value the business and value the property. So when you do get that buyer, you can very confidently know which is your commission and which is 15% and which one's the 3% that real estate. Yeah, that you make. So sweet. What other questions we got? So some of that haven't gotten any listeners yet. Anything that you run into on the university or questions?
I also want to bring Sherry on too, because I talked to Sherry last week. I want to talk to Sherry. So I'm going to put Sherry on the hot seat for a second, if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Sherry, you want to be on the hot seat?
Sure, I can do
It
that.
wasn't It wasn't an option anyways. That made it sound like one.
It's good.
All right, Sherry. So, I mean, I know you know some of the newer people that are on here, and whatnot, but, when you first started in this, what was your first, like your mentality and like, what was on day one, like, what did you do? Because you do have a bunch of listings. So on day one, what did you do? And like, tell us a little bit about that journey, because I think it's important because you've had a lot of success in getting these listings and they will sell and you're moving them along. Like I said, we're building a list of this and also getting very, very good at the lingo of talking. And you talk to a lot of people, a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers. But tell me about, like, as you started, like, what was the first couple things that you did in your first couple days?
Sure. So really, I got off the call that you guys were doing, your weekly call. It was on like the second one when you first launched. And I said, well, let's see if this works. And you guys had given the little paragraph or like that short letter that you could give to business owners. I revamped it a little bit as something that I could send in a Facebook messenger message. Went out and searched businesses for sale around me, and I just copy paste, sent it to like 10 different business owners. And then all of a sudden people start responding, yeah, let's talk. And so then I got on the phone with this guy and I kind of chuckle at it because I would have never thought this would be something, but USDOT number. Turns out that was like my first listing, I think. And turns out we can't sell it because he bought it with his own name. And that's a long story. It was under the LLC, a business name. He's working on fixing it so we could go list it again. Because believe it or not, those things are worth something. But I didn't even meet the guy. Like, we just talked on the phone. I think he's down in Florida right now, and his business has been in Minnesota. Just listed it, and then the next one got on with the
We're learning
coffee
so
shop.
much from those ones. That's so great because you, like, man, just what you said about the things that you know about the DOT number now, you're like, you have that forever.
Yeah,
That's the
and
best.
now I can help people to know right away, okay, well, if they've got it in a business name, yeah, they can sell it. If it's in their own name, no, they can't, but they can make some adjustments and they can maybe fix it to be a sellable number. And then I got the coffee shop license. I sat down with the seller, I had coffee with him, and you just learned what he was doing. And I think I might have done my trick that I do. I'll give you guys a cheat sheet of, I go on to ChatGPT and I say, hey, I'm a business broker. I'm going to go meet with the owner of a coffee shop who's selling a license for this thing. What kind of questions should I ask him? And then I have all these questions, like way more than I know, but like I know better what to talk to them about, and I can sound smarter and not be so worried about, oh my gosh, what I'm going to do. But really, if you just get into their head of why are they doing this, what's motivating them, and understanding that, I think that comes across. And then I just kept going and sending messages, and now I'm dropping letters, and I've got a listing that's I may or may not get, but it's a letter from before Christmas. So they're not even necessarily going to call you right away. And I've got another letter that I'm getting calls from that I just did 2 weeks ago. And the sad thing is they just bought that business in August, so it must not be going well. But anyway, and I sent dropped more letters today at car washes and gas stations and childcare, and just keep going and talking with these people. The listings are there and they are so much easier than anything I've ever done with residential real estate. It's amazing.
Yeah. You got to get out there. Like, I'll put it, call spade a spade. At the end of the day,
You are a spade
a spade. You just got to literally get out there and do the work, and I can tell you that if you get out there and you do the training, it's going to give you the foundation, but it's not going to prepare you fully. So the only thing that's going to prepare you fully is to get out there and do a transaction. I mean, every transaction is treated completely different.
Because they're totally different niches. They're totally different. Like, you go to a restaurant and then you go to a DOT number and then you go to a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Then you go to a luxury car wash and or a luxury, like, they're all different in different ways, and there's just no way. So the most important thing is to get out there and just gain as much knowledge.
Yeah.
And it works. I went to a networking event, ended up with a bakery listing. I posted on Facebook, like Travis said to post. I've got a vending company I'm waiting for that to get signed. Like, the listings are everywhere. We just have to put ourselves out there and not worry about being perfect. Don't worry about having the right business card. Don't worry about the right email signature. I mean, I had nothing that first night when I sat down, and I had 3 listings by the end of that week. Now they're all small businesses, really, really small businesses, but that's okay. I'm learning, and now have more confidence to go after the big ones, like this gym that's $800,000 that I'd like to get listed, you know, and other that like the bakery, that's a 900,000 a year, I think, business, you know.
Yep. Yep.
Keep shooting your shot. You're going to take, and you know what, here's one of the biggest things in here is that you are, you guys don't have much competition. So the problem is not going to be getting the listing, because it's about getting in front of them. That's your only issue. Because there ain't nobody else doing it. The niche that we chose and the reason we did were a couple of reasons, is that we met local business owners and they've been discarded. So they're already beat down thinking that like more businesses close that shouldn't close. They just should not. Like there's people that want to take these businesses over. And so I think the hardest part is like, you'll talk to most business owners, they don't even know that they can sell. Because, you know, just like with the marketing company, like they're like, sorry, not worth, like what's your hard work that you've spent your 16 years on building and has grown you wealth and your family, all this stuff, it's worthless and I can't sell it. What a horrible thing. Like what a horrible thing to do. And so you guys, it is wide open. And then, so when we say that, like, go out and talk to everybody, because what's going to happen is exactly what happened to Sherry. She started with small things and she learned. And then all of a sudden she's going to start getting, I would not be surprised by the end of this year, she probably has a $1 to $2 million deal that she's going to be doing. And it's not because she got that $1 to $2 million, because she took the small one and she took the big, small ones and kept going and going and going. And all of a sudden she's going to build a reputation around town. And it's just, they're going to be calling her. Yeah. Because there's nobody else besides Sherry.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I went to a networking meeting yesterday, and this speaks volumes to people. You go to a networking meeting, and I thought, you know what? Let me just do a little printout from Biz by Sell of all my listings. I've got 8 listings on Biz by Sell right now. You know how impressive that looks to people around the table? You've got 8 business listings. Word's gonna get out fast, and they're not big businesses. And in fact, some say, oh, I know a person looking for car detailing, but that reputation is going to start snowballing for you. And people are going to, I mean, that's one of these restaurants, they call me, hey, I hear you sell businesses. And I haven't been able to talk to them yet, but that stuff happens once you get your name out there. This is a bajillion times easier than residential real estate ever was for me. It really is. And it pays so much better too. So that's good. And I'm having fun.
Business owners are going to be so excited to talk to you guys. Unlike maybe if you've been in real estate and you go up to selling, you're like, you're interested in selling. Like they may be like, oh, no, I'm not. No business owner, they're all like, yeah, no, I'm not. But thanks for asking. Like because they didn't even know. Like they're not, no one else is coming up to them. That's the thing about real estate. They're getting people thinking it's in the mail. Like they're getting advertisements on billboards, like, hey, I'll buy your house for cash, like all of these things. They're not seeing any of that stuff.
I'm still waiting for someone to bring that brand to the market, buy your business for cash. We are closing in 30 days. Yeah.
We already are. No, it's already in the marketing plan this year. I didn't tell you that.
Fair enough.
Fair, just like you didn't tell me anything about that car wash closing. That's fine.
We're running on right now. That's for sure.
Well, you have yours part and I have my part.
Yeah. Well, nice. Well, we're at the hour. Any other questions?
Thank you, Sherry, so much.
Thanks, Sherry.
My pleasure.
All right. I have a feeling, Dave, you're going to land one of those whales, and it's one sale and done. You're just going to manufacturing facility, retire, and then you're going to be leading our mastermind.
Yeah, we got a $20 million business.
that would be wonderful. Yeah. Then I could do 2 of those a year and nothing else.
Nothing else.
Put it in the universe for you. I have high hopes.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Oh,
that'd be sweet. I mean, those manufacturing things, though. I mean, have you looked into also pet manufacturing, like not of the food and things like that? That'd be another one I'd definitely hit into. These small little mom and pop ones that are manufacturing. You see them on the road, the feed stores, things like that too. They lead to where they're getting their food from. So have you tried tailing at the back doorway at all, Dave? You really see who buys this stuff in the manufacturing you're going after?
No, but it's just, today's been really good conversation because it's brought probably 4 contacts into my thoughts for the next week. I had a discussion with one of my good friends just the other night. He called me and he said, we went to some high school event and there was this one food truck there And we got talking to him, and over a weekend, they made $3,200 in profit just with this one food truck. And he's like, now I'm talking to my wife and my kids saying, well, who could help manage it? Why still work? Because he's a CFO at a good sized construction company in Minneapolis. So we're going to actually go pheasant hunting together in another couple of weeks, and I'm going to talk to him more about it at that time. But and he's one that I'm probably going to say, hey, you're looking to get out of that corporate world. You interested in looking at buying and selling businesses and joining us, because he is a CFO. He's owned businesses. He's been in the mortgage industry. He's a kind of an investor on the side too, does day trading options, all kinds of. So the guy's smart.
Wow.
And so I'm really going to try to use him as a good networking person to say, what do you think about your food truck idea? Should we start looking for something that's already established versus starting it over? But so I mean, as well as the other conversations here, I have a client that I remember that we keep in contact all the time, but he's got a small shop in the cities. Maybe one other person that he does specialty metal bending or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's another start, because that was when you had mentioned about those brick buildings with really no signs. Well, that's exactly what he's in. I think he's got a small sign on the door on the glass, but that's it. But we still maintain contact. So I think, this has really brought up a lot of different people that I can already talk to just to get that conversation started. Kind of like Sherry's always been mentioning, and you mentioned, just go do it and just let things happen versus try to figure out how you're going to create them all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Yeah, it's got me fired up now. I'm like, we could visit boat repair right now. All these repair companies. It's like the whole gold rush, right? You do the hotels, not the actual gold rush. It's the same thing right now. The winter is slow for these businesses that are doing boat repair, RV repair, things like that. So I would get into those guys too. And because by the time you get that thing listed, it's going to be springtime and it's going to be popping again. It's going to be good business to sell. But yeah, anyway, good stuff, man. This is great. I love chatting with you guys as always.
Friday.
Yeah, Fridays are great.
I get stuff for this.
Yeah.
Because, let's see the movement on you guys, man. It's going to be cool as this year is gonna blow up.
Yeah. Again, set expectations. First year brokers, 2 to 3 listings, close a year. If you're doing it, essentially part-time-ish. If you do full-time, a good 4 to 6 is probably a good closing expertise. So get out there to get that. It's all about a ratio. And JJ, you and I talked about this 20-25% closing ratio is a realistic, especially if you go the lower business route. So play the numbers, right? You need 15-20 listings out there to get your 3 to 4. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just think about that on a real estate standpoint. If you close 6, it's like closing 30.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be closing like 100, but you never know.
It's there's a multiplier to it also, because you get those big businesses and it's like, you get $1 million one, you're making 150 grand out of it.
It's almost the same as mortgage lending.
Hey, remember, it's Waymakers, guys. Remember, hey, if you guys need, you guys have these buyers that reach out to Scotty Waymaker Mortgage and get him over there so he can pre-qualify and get that triangle trust so you can, you guys are working all together in that.
Yeah.
Too. So don't forget him.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next one, huh?
Sounds good.
All right. Love to have you, JJ.
Thanks a lot.
See you guys.
Bye.